Hey, how we doing, team? This is Coach Last with Mental Grit Consulting, and I want to welcome you to, really the start of our planning and our preparation phase for your race in the upcoming 4 to 5 weeks here. It depends on kind of where you're at within your training program, but what we're talking about today is really coming back to that all-important concept of present focus versus future or outcome focus. And I know this whole concept has come up quite a bit during our time together and during your training process. But today I want to focus specifically on in the race day or inside of training, whatever it might be. I really want to help you develop an understanding of what does this concept mean inside of the race? What can we do inside of the race in order to utilize this present moment focus? We've talked about present focus goals. We've talked about outcome goals. Well, today we're talking specifically about where you can put your attention in order to help you become more a part of the process. Because let's be really clear here. When we go into races, sometimes our focus can start wavering towards the outcome, start wavering towards putting our attention on things that are out of our control and that are typically involved in something that's going to happen in the future or possibly that has happened in the past. But most of the times when we're in the race, when we get fatigued, we can lose our focus. We can start focusing on things that just don't help us. Don't get passed by a certain person, or I really want to make sure I hit my time. Am I hitting my time? Am I able to really accomplish this goal that I have? And honestly, when it comes to performance, when it comes to elite level performance, outcomes don't matter in the moment. Outcomes don't matter when you're racing, because if you're thinking about outcomes, you're going to be distracted. You're going to be distracted by doing, or distracted from doing the things that you need to do in order to fully perform your absolute best. To be in the moment, to be in the process is the best way you can always really perform at your optimal level. So today we're talking about the present process focus versus the future outcome focus. And we want to make sure that during training, during race day, that we're always engaging in as much of the process as we possibly can. But for right now, I do want you to know what you want. What do you want out of this next race coming up? I want you to put down all of the outcomes, all the future tense focuses, all the future tense stuff that you would want or that you could put your focus on during the race. Now, these can be things like race results or placements or beating a certain somebody, or possibly a time that you're trying to go after within each of the specific domains and or disciplines within triathlon. So put down a swim, a bike, and a run inside of this area here, and I want you to write down what are the big outcome focuses. You might even get as detailed as T1 and D2. What are the times that you want to get? What are the placements you want to get within your age group? You can put those things down. That is just fine, and I want you to put them down so you can identify them, so you are aware of what they are. However, having said that, I always want you to know what you want, but more importantly, always come back to putting your attention on things that help you get there. I'm going to say that again. I know, and I really want you to know what you want. I want you to always know what you're going after. However, it's always more important to put your attention on things that help you get there, on things that are involved in the process or in the present moment. It's the same concept that we've been talking about so much. And so we move down to these 9 little lines down here. We're really deciding on 3 most important things within each of the disciplines. What's most important to focus on? Most important to focus on, whether that be a specific technique or a specific tactic that you're utilizing, any specific physical thing that you're doing or mental thing that you're doing in order to help you go your absolute fastest over a long period of time. It comes back to that whole point of this is endurance racing. So you need to be doing the things that help you go fast over that whole period of time, right? So I want you to think of what are the most important foci, most important things that you can put your focus on in the swim. This can be anything from a specific technique like dropping your forearm and keeping your elbows high. It could be something along the lines of turning, something along the lines of kicking. You guys have done so much work over the last really 8, 9, even 10 weeks here and you probably understand or know a little bit more about yourself and about, what are the things that help you go fast. So I want you to put down what you've learned, and I want you to give yourself a deliberate thing that you can put your focus on in order to help you go fast. And I've said that like 3 times now. So go ahead, start putting those, those most important focuses down, and then I want you to start practicing them this next week. Really put yourself in that mindset of race day, just like we talked about before. We've talked about developing that pre-performance routine. Use that pre-performance routine, put yourself in that mindset, and then when you're training, I want you to deliberately put your focus on the 3 most important things here. Now, between now and race day, these 3 things for each discipline might change, but I still want you to have 3 on the day of the race. And we'll come back to that, once we get to that final week, just to review exactly what our race plan is, because this is going to be one of the most important pieces of your race plan, is to always be able to come back to the present moment and to focus on things that are helping you in the present moment, to follow that process in order to help you accomplish the outcomes. Again, you know what you want, and that's a great thing. And I want you to put those things down and put them in writing so you can ink it rather than think it, right? Put it down, make it tangible. But then we're going to write down the 3 most important things to help us focus. Now, I want you to really quick, just to give some people some ideas here, I want you to put down one of your most important deliberate focuses that you can focus on to help you go fast in the comment section below underneath each domain. So 1 for swim, 1 for bike, 1 for run. Give people ideas of what you're doing and what you're putting your focus on, but make sure, 1, you can control it, and make sure, number 2, that it's technical, tactical, mental, or physical. One of those 4, that's just fine. Just make sure that it's in the moment, that it's process-oriented, and it's something that will help you go fast. That's all I'm going to say today. Have a great week, everybody. Get grit. We'll look forward to seeing you next week as we continue to move through our development and our staging. So, just before we leave here, the 3rd page of the workbook, it does include a description as well as a keyword, right? Take your 3 most important pieces within each of the disciplines, write down a description. Write down a description of exactly what that means to do that, tactical, technical, mental, or physical thing that you said above, and then give yourself 1 keyword. 1 keyword to help you do whatever it is that you need to do exactly the way you want it to be done. And we're going to leave it at that. So have a great week this next week. Again, next week we're going to be getting into imagery and developing imagery scripts for your T1 and T2 transitions. I look forward to that. But for right now, focus in on the most important things that you can do to help you go fast and start really getting deliberate about using them inside of your performances, inside of your training. Look forward to seeing you next week. Again, my goodness, get grit, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.